Palworld is the latest craze which has taken the gaming market by storm. Before its initial release, it was known as a Pokemon copy, but with guns and the ability to literally kill Pokemon. Something that a ton of people have always wanted. Gamefreak, I am not one of them, I promise. But because Pocket Pair found a gap in the Pokemon market, they were able to monetize it and create their own version known as Palworld, which is actually the #1 selling and trending game in the entire world as of this moment. But have they copied Pokemon and just added guns? Well, the answer is yes and no. You see, there are lots of very similar designed pals in Palworld to that of Pokemon. One of my favourites being Anubis, which if you know Pokemon quite well, you can easily tell that Anubis was designed through inspiration from Lucario and Cofagrigus. There are a ton of others such as Dinosaur, who literally looks like a Goodra and Meganium put together. It's very obvious that Pocket Pair have used designs from Pokemon to create their own monsters. But that's the thing, Pokemon have literally designed nearly everything you can think of, so it's basically impossible to redesign pals like Anubis without them kinda looking like Lucario. You see, there are 1025 Pokemon that exist and each have different designs. So even if pals weren't based off Pokemon designs, the chances of pals looking a lot like any Pokemon are quite high. But I do believe that Pocket Pair have taken inspiration from a ton of Pokemon, and the key word there is inspiration, because each pal is quite well designed and designed from scratch. Even if there are qualities from Pokemon that have gone into these designs, it's not classified as stealing, because these are their own designs, and I think Pocket Pair have actually designed these pals to look similar to Pokemon on purpose. Because remember when I said that this game was supposed to fix that gap in the Pokemon market? Well, that's why it got fixed, because the game does feel like its own entity, but with the additions of what a ton of fans wanted from Pokemon, which was to kill it and shoot them, as bad as that sounds. And this game did a perfect job of doing that. For only half the price of a modern Pokemon game that takes catching Pokemon to a whole nother level. I personally think that's quite good, especially because the game ticks nearly all the boxes for what players have wanted in a Pokemon game. Whilst the latest Pokemon game Scarlet and Violet was a 50-50 love or hate it type of game, with the majority of people complaining about how bad it was compared to what they expected. And that, my friends, is where Palworld shines, because Palworld wasn't that hyped before its beta release, but once players started to get a feel for what the game was like, they shared it and the internet was taken by a storm. The game has currently sold over 4 million copies as of today, and boasts the 5th highest concurrent Steam players ever. That is an achievement which huge companies strive to hit with their games. But because Pocket Pair found what we wanted as players, something that Gamefreak will probably never create, they have found themselves at the top of the charts.